It does look like the unthinkable is going to happen, and unfortunately, it's going to happen a lot sooner than any of us thought possible. So, what is the unthinkable? The unthinkable is potentially dramatically higher prices brought on by the threat or the actual implementation of tariffs. According to CNN Business, their article, Target CEO, and it's also Best Buy CEO, expect price increases in the next couple of days because of tariffs. Before we jump into that article, I want to thank this video sponsor, which is Chapter. Chapter is a Medicare advisor that pledges to put your interests ahead of the insurance companies as you think about your Medicare alternatives. More about Chapter later, but thank you, Chapter, for sponsoring this video. Let's jump into the article. It starts off saying, two of America's largest retailers, Target and Best Buy, warned Tuesday that prices will increase following President Trump's tariff on imported goods from Mexico, Canada, and China. Target CEO said the price increases could happen a lot sooner than what you think. The article goes on to say the tariffs threaten to raise prices Americans pay for a wide array of goods that are imported from three nations, which collectively import more than 40% of all U.S. goods by value. It quotes Target CEO Brian Cornell. It said in an interview on CNBC on Tuesday that the Trump tariffs on Mexico may force the company to raise prices on fruits and vegetables as soon as this week. Now, as I record this, those tariffs are on pause, but the threat is still there. And Best Buy said that they also expect tariffs to cause prices to rise, and that's because China and Mexico are top sources for consumer electronics at Best Buy. Before we jump into the rest of the article, I do want to tell you about Chapter, who is this video sponsor. Chapter advises customers on their Medicare options, whether that's when you first qualify for Medicare or after you've already qualified, after you've been on Medicare for a year or 2, 3 years, and you're looking at your options, you're looking at your alternatives. Regular viewers of this channel know that I strongly suggest you work with advisors, you work with people that are fiduciaries to you, and Chapter has pledged to place your interests ahead of the interests of the insurance companies. And that's what I want when my time comes to choose Medicare and to make my alternatives. First, I want to make sure that the data that they're presenting me is accurate and true. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad data about Medicare. And so the team at Chapter has spent a lot of time and effort. They're data experts. They came from one of the largest publicly held companies that rely on good, clean data to help make great decisions. And that team spun out of that firm and applied their knowledge, applied their expertise to Chapter, and then importantly, built a culture. And they have pledged to me in my contract with them that they're going to place your interest ahead of that of the insurance companies. That's hard to find when it comes to Medicare. And so I encourage you to think about giving Chapter a call at this phone number or at this link above. Give them a call, chat with them. It's completely free to you. And thank you, Chapter, for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's continue with the CNN Business article. The article says, we've never seen this breadth of tariffs. This, of course, impacts the whole industry. And that was Best Buy's CEO, Corey Berry, who said on a call Tuesday with analysts, the company expects its vendors to pass along some of the tariff costs to retailers. And the quote is, making price increases for American consumers highly likely. It's important to see how this is playing out with customer visits. Customer visits to Target, Walmart, and Costco have slowed over the last 4 weeks, but they've dropped the most at Target, according to Placer.ai, which uses phone location data to track visits. The slowdown could be attributed to weather, economic conditions, or other variables, Placer.ai cautioned. And during the week of February 17th, the latest week available, foot traffic to Target dropped 7.9% and 5.2% to Walmart. Now, that's a big decrease. And yes, it could be due to weather, it could be due to, Super Bowl weekend. I think that was Super Bowl weekend. It was the week after the Super Bowl, I believe. So it could be due to many, many causes, but we are about to embark on uncharted territory. Now, this is not President Trump's first term. In President Trump's first term, he also put tariffs on China, and there were a lot of smart people that said this is going to slow the economy, this is going to tank the stock market. And fortunately, in 2019, the economy did well and the stock market did well. In fact, it was up almost a little over, I should say, 30%, including dividends, the S&P 500. So there's lots of ways that this can play out, but at a time when I think we all know that consumers are tapped out, if you look at the median household income since 1980, the nice thing is that chart has been going up and to the right, which means the median household income is doing better, inflation adjusted up until, the pandemic, so it went up and to the right, but unfortunately, it dipped down, since 2019. It topped out with the median household income being about $78,000, and it since has dropped down to $74,000. That's a big drop, that's $4,000, and with half of all American households not saving a dime, that is $4,000 that we did not have. On top of this, we're entering this period now with this grand experiment with tariffs. President Trump has said to expect some short-term pain, and I think that's wise advice. I hope we don't see short-term pain, but I agree with President Trump. I think it's likely that we will. So what do you do to prepare? What do you do to make sure that you're prepared to weather the storm? Number 1 is to have an emergency fund, at least 3, preferably 6 months or more of cash available of your living expenses in cash, likely at your local bank. You don't wanna have your emergency fund invested in the stock market because when you need it might be the very time when layoffs are increasing, um, and when it becomes hard to find a job. That can be a sign that the economy is down, that the stock market would be down. So you want to be sure that that money is there and available to you when you need it. So unfortunately, for most of us, that means probably just keeping it in a local bank. I would advise having your money at 2 different banks. There has been a recent um, increase in the number of accounts that are being shut down because of, the banks are doing what they're calling de-risking because of, suspicious activity reports. They're legally obligated to send the government things that look suspicious to them, and there's plenty of people that are just plain vanilla people doing normal things that unfortunately are getting a notice that their checking account has been shut down, that they're canceling their credit cards, and then you're left scrambling, finding a new bank, getting new credit cards, and it can take weeks to get that money from your old bank account. So to prevent that, to increase your likelihood of not being squeezed at a time like that, I suggest 2 different banks. It's about making good decisions. It's about preparing for difficult times, whether they come or not. And if you'd like to see another video of mine like this, the YouTube algorithm says this is the best next video of mine to watch. Thanks for watching this one. Thank you again to Chapter for sponsoring this video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.